Several hours later, I walked home. I was weak and trembling. I shook and cried when I lay on my bed. I couldn't eat that night for days. A haunting fear was in my heart. The slightest exertion upset me, making me wobbly in the knees and sick to my stomach. Wobbly means weak. After some hours, when William walked home, he felt weak and shivered. He kept on crying as he lay on the bed. So he was unable to eat food. The fear kept on haunting him for many days, and the incident made him physically upset. The slightest work made him feel that his knees were unable to bear his weight, and he would feel like vomiting. I never went back to the pool. I feared water and I avoided it whenever I could. Now, William did not go to the swimming pool as he feared the water and he remained away from the water. A few years later, when I came to know that the water of the cascades, I wanted to get into them. And whenever I did, whether I was wading the Titan or bumping river or bathing in the warm lake of the goat rocks, the terror that had seized me in the pool would come back. It would take possession of me completely. My legs would become paralyzed. Icy horror would grab my heart. Now, after some years, when William came to know of the waterfall and he wanted to go in that, whenever he went for swimming in different rivers like Bumping River, Warm Lake of the Goat Rocks, the fear of water returned. It would grab him completely, disable his limbs, and grab his heart. This handicap stayed with me as the years rolled by. In Conans on mine lakes, fishing for landlocked salmon, bass fishing in New Hampshire, trout fishing on the Deschutes and Melitulis in Oregon, fishing for salmon on the Columbia, at Bumping Lake in the Cascades. Whenever I went, the hunting fear of the water followed me. It ruined my fishing trips, deprived me of the joy of canoeing, boating, and swimming. Now, the fear of water remained with William as he grew up. On the boating trips of different lakes he tried, where he fished different varieties of fish, these all the fear followed him whenever he was going. His fishing trips were destroyed as he did not enjoy boating and swimming due to the fear. I used every way I knew to overcome his fear, but I held my firm in its grip. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. I went to a pool and practiced 5 days a week, an hour each day. The instructor put a belt around me, a rope attached to the belt went through a pulley that ran on the overhead cable. He held on the end of the rope and we went back and forth across the pool. Hour after hour, day after day, week after week. On each trip across the pool, a bit of the panic seized me. Each time the instructor relaxed his hold and on the rope and I went under, some of the old terror returned and my leg froze. It was 3 months before the tension began to slack. Then he taught me to put my face under water and exhale and to raise my nose and inhale. I repeated the exercise hundreds of times. Bit by bit, I shed part of the panic that seized me when my head went underwater. Now, when William tried to ward off the fear, but he was unable to get rid of it. So finally, in the month of October, he hired an instructor to teach him swimming. He would practice for an hour each day, 5 days in a week. But William describes the learning process. The instructor put a belt around William's waist. The belt was attached to the thick rope. The rope went through an overhead pulley and was held by the instructor. It ensured that in case William drowned, the instructor would pull him out. William swam across the length of the pool for several weeks. Whenever the instructor loosened the rope, he went down into the water and fear would return. It would immobilize his legs. And it was after 3 months of practice that William got comfortable. Then the instructor taught him to breathe in the water. He taught him to put his face under the water and exhale his breath. But he was taught to raise his nose out of the water and inhale. William practiced several times. Gradually, he got rid of the panic that would grab him when he put his head under the water. Next, he held me at the side of the pool and had me kick with my legs. For weeks, I did just that. At first, my legs refused to work, but they gradually relaxed, and finally, I could command them. Now, in the third phase of the learning process, the instructor taught William to kick the water surface with his legs. So, he did this for many weeks. Initially, his legs did not move, but gradually they relaxed, and finally, William could order them to kick in the desired way. Thus, piece by piece, he built a swimmer, and when he had perfected each piece, he put them together into an integrated whole. In April, he said, "Now you can swim. Dive off and swim the length of the pool, crawl stroke." Now finally the instructor made a swimmer out of the William in phase. When William had perfected each phase and he compiled them, in the month of the April, the instructor told William that now he could swim. He asked him to dive into the pool, and he dived into the pool and swim the length of the pool in the particular style could be called the crawl stroke. I did. The instructor was finished. William swam and the classes came to an end. But I was not finished. I still wondered if I would be terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. I tried it. I swam the length up and down. Tiny vestiges of the old terror would return. But now I could fawn and say of that terror trying to scare me. Well, here's to you. Look. After off, I had go on the another length of the pool. Now, William had not overcome the fear yet, and wondered if the terror would grab him when he would be alone in the water. He tried to swim alone in the pool. The terror returned in small phases, but now, as he knew how to swim, he faced the terror with confidence. He swam another length of the pool. This went on until July, but I was still not satisfied. It was not sure that all the terror had left. So I went to Lake Wentworth in the New Hampshire, dived off a dock off Trinks Island, and swam 2 miles across the lake of Stamp Act Island. I swam the crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. Only once did the terror return. When I was in the middle of the lake, I put my face under and saw nothing but bottomless water. The old sensation returned in miniature. I laughed and said, "Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me?" It fled and I swam on. Now, miniature means a small size. So William swam like this till the month of July, but it was not satisfied. He wanted to be sure that all of the fear had left him. So he went to the Lake Wentworth and in the New Hampshire and dived into it, and he swam in different styles like crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. The terror returned only once when he was in the middle of the lake, and when he put his head under water, he saw water all around and the fear returned. This time William laughed at the terror and said to it that it could not harm him. He saw that the terror vanished and he resumed swimming. Yet I had residual doubts. At my first opportunity, I hurried west, went up the Titan at the Conroe Meadows, up to the Conroe Creek Trail to Medi Glacier, and camped in the high meadow by the side of the warm lake. The next morning, I dived into the lake and swam across the other shore and back just a dog caught been used to it. I shouted with joy, and the Gilbert Peak returned the echo. I had conquered my fear of water. Now, what was going on then? William still had some doubt about the fear, so he hurried toward the western direction. And he went to the Titan, reached Conroe Meadows, and walked up the Conroe Creek Trail. And he camped at the meadow by the warm lake. And what happened then? The next morning, he wore the swimming costume and dived into the lake. And he swam across it to the other end and returned just like the famous American. And William shouted with joy as he had overcome his fear. His voice resounded as the mountain peak named Gilbert Peak, and he had overcome the fear. The experience had a deep meaning for me, as only those who have known strike terror and conquered it can appreciate. In death, there is peace, there is terror only. In the fear of death, as Roosevelt knew when he said, all we have to fear is fear itself, because I had experienced both the sensation of dying and the terror that it can produce. The will to live somehow grew in intensity. At last I felt relaxed. I felt realized, free to walk the trails and climb the peaks and to brush aside fear. Now, the experience had a great importance in William's life, actually, everybody's life. He realized that death was peaceful and only the fear of death was fearful. He recollected the words of one of the President of America, Roosevelt, and Roosevelt had said that all we have to fear is fear itself, as William had experienced death and the fear of death also. So he desire to live grew intensely, and he felt realized from the fear and was free to walk up the trails and climb up the mountains fearlessly. So children, this is all about the chapter. Read the chapter. I hope you can understand the chapter. Thank you children.